The city that dictates policy for hundreds of millions of Europeans today arrived at its position through an entirely unexpected path. Brussels lacked the traditional advantages of a global capital. There was no foundational empire, no massive localized population, and no strategic geographic dominance to set it above rivals like London or Paris. This raises a question: how did an ordinary, muddy medieval trading town become a central pillar of international politics? The answer lies in the city's history of survival, where moments of near total destruction repeatedly forced it to rebuild and redefine its role on the continent. 1,000 years ago, Brussels was little more than a small, unassuming settlement sitting beside the River Senne. With no imperial backing to rely on, the town grew organically. Merchants traveling across the Low Countries used the river connections, driving up local trade and laying down the first market streets. By the Middle Ages, that trade had elevated the settlement into a primary city of the Duchy of Brabant. Local merchants used their wealth to construct the elaborate guild houses that framed the Grand Place. This commercial success carried a significant risk. The city's riches put a target on its walls, ensuring it would eventually draw the attention of hostile foreign empires. That threat materialized in 1695. During the 9 Years' War, French forces surrounded the city and unleashed a devastating bombardment. This etching reveals the scale of the destruction. Incendiary bombs and cannon fire leveled the central market, reducing 4,000 structures to ash. But instead of economic decline, local merchant guilds pooled resources, competing to reconstruct the center. They replaced the ruins with an even more opulent architectural square, creating the UNESCO World Heritage Site standing there today. This set a precedent for the city's future. Whenever it faced physical collapse, the people used the catastrophe to adapt and evolve their infrastructure. Over the following centuries, control of the city constantly changed hands, passing between Burgundian, Spanish, Austrian, French, and eventually Dutch rulers. By August 1830, local resentment toward the Dutch administration reached a breaking point. Protests broke out during an impassioned opera performance in the city center. Within days, barricades went up across the cobblestones. Skirmishes turned into a full-scale armed revolt, and soon Belgium formally declared its independence. Brussels rose to the status of a national capital as a direct result of this sudden revolution, an elevation born of immediate political survival. Entering the 20th century, that survival instinct was tested again by 2 consecutive world wars. While the city avoided the massive carpet bombing campaigns that leveled other European capitals, it endured prolonged military occupation by German forces. The architecture survived, but the psychological strain was high. Everyday life meant severe food shortages, strict evening curfews, and an ever-present occupying army. When the Second War finally ended, the continent sought a way to end the cycle of conflict. The nations of Europe began searching for a way to integrate their political and economic systems. European leaders chose cooperation over competition, calculating that intertwined economies would prevent another continental war. Because Brussels had spent centuries surviving different empires and bridging cultural and linguistic divides, it served as a neutral territory for these new experiments in governance. International infrastructure moved in quickly. The city became the home for the European Commission and the Council of the European Union. This centralization grew as NATO also established its headquarters here, drawing in thousands of civil servants, international diplomats, and policy experts. The city that was once passed around by foreign rulers had become the anchor for a unified political bloc. Today, that history exists side by side with a futuristic reality. You can walk a few short blocks and move directly from medieval guild houses to the glass and steel of the European Parliament. Over 180 nationalities now call Brussels home, populating the embassies and NGOs that surround the ancient city center. The city's persistent ability to adapt to changing regimes became its defining asset. Having survived several empires, it was uniquely prepared to host the institutions of a new cooperative Europe. A settlement that began beside a river now shapes policy on trade, climate, and security. It is a reminder that influence can be built through the long, patient process of cooperation.
Love uncovering city secrets and history in minutes? Hit that like button, share the mystery, and subscribe for more.